Is Ed Smith. I'm Javon Adams. This is the Easy Sports Talk Show with Ed Smith and Javon Adams. Again, we do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So let's get into this game, the Detroit Lions going into Santa Clara, California to face the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers were victorious 34-31. At a certain point in this game, at halftime, it was 24-7 Detroit. And I thought, this is going to make San Francisco have to change its game plan a little bit. They're going to have to alter it a bit, really put that ball up in the air and do some things. But at the end of this game, I mean, the final score was 34-31. So we know that San Francisco turned it around. There were in the first half, I believe the Lions were in the red zone 3 times. They got 2 scores, 2 out of 3 times. But the third time, they had an opportunity to at least kick a field goal. I know that they were so close to the end zone, but Campbell decides to go for it and they don't get it. Then in the last drive of the game for the Lions, really, they're down by 3. They can try to tie it up and let's make this a game with 3-4 minutes left. Let's make this a game and see if we can stop them, that type of thing. They go for it on 4th and 3, I believe it was, and they come up short. And I'm thinking, no, somebody had to try to veto this man, but this is what he's been all season long. So I guess he went out the way that that went out swinging, so to speak. But I thought those were 2 decisions that they were egregious. Even if you are the most aggressive coach, sometimes you just got to take the easy way out and get these points. But what did you think about this game? And plus, your man Brock Purdy in that second half, he stepped up.
Yeah, man. This is one where I'm looking at Coach. I'm like, Coach, I know you got a philosophy. I know we're always going to want to be aggressive. But in both those instances, you take the points. Yeah. You're ahead. It's 24-7. You keep piling on. At this point, the 3 is just as good as the 7 because you got a lead. You're adding on to your lead. Yeah. And in that first one, it's like, scratching your head, you just gave away 3, and also Jay, what you did, you gave away momentum. You and I were texting during the game. The second they did that, and then the 49ers got the ball, and they went down and they scored. That was the biggest shift in the game. Yeah. And then the other one, the second one, I'm scratching my head even more. You're behind now. You've seen the momentum shift. You can tie the game, whereas you tie the game is a whole different situation. Now, even if they get the ball and go down and score, which they did, it's still a 1-score game. Or if you stop them, now you have the opportunity to go down and win the game. And you don't take the field goal. You don't take the 3 points to tie the game. Man. And it's live by the sword, die by the sword, Jay. But this is one of those situations where this is premeditated murder. This is premeditated murder. You were going to do this. You were waiting for the opportunity to show everybody this is how I roll. And it was like, it was not necessary. Every situation, every circumstance is not the same. Yeah. Some downs are worth kicking the field goal, taking the points, licking your wounds, live to fight another day. And Campbell just didn't do it. He couldn't help himself. He couldn't help himself. He was waiting for those opportunities to do what he does. And you can't go into it thinking like that. Yeah. It's when I made up my mind before we even got off the plane in San Fran. I mean, the first opportunity, we're going to do it. I'm telling you, we're going to do it. And in this situation, bro, you're right, too. Somebody on that staff, he's got to have a second in command that calls down to him, Dan, no, Dan, we got to kick the field goal here. And Dan, no, we have to kick the field goal here because, and then, okay, send the field goal unit out. That has to be a change that they have to make. And if I'm ownership, I'm like, Dan, look, hey, man, we love you're aggressive and everything, but hey, every now and then it's okay to kick the field goal. We got to put somebody in place, second in command that can be, like you said, veto it, talk some sense to the man in the heat of the moment, whatever it is, because that costs the team. And then San Fran, what can you say, bro? No panic.
Sometimes I'm gonna let you finish, but one of the things that sometimes what is it? Luck is the being exceptionally prepared, whatever the phrase is.
Yeah.
But the ball bounces off of the defender's helmet, the Detroit defender's helmet, bounces into who was the receiver? I forget who it
Ayukin.
was. Ayuk, and he
Ayuk.
would and how that doesn't happen. It bounces off his face mask and into Ayuk's hands, and they end up scoring on that play. I mean on that drive, and that those things happen. That's why you
That's
got
a
to take your points
shifter.
because you never know how it bounces. But go ahead, I'll let you continue.
Yeah, no, I'd rather be lucky than the good any day
Mm,
in the week, man. I mean, that was just one of those, not giving up on the play, however
yeah,
you want to call it. That's what great athletes do. I mean, and they make that play. The ones that aren't expecting it or not playing to the end whistle, they give up on it, and all of a sudden they try to get there, and they're just a hair late, ball on their fingertips, hits the ground. It would have been a great play, but it wasn't. Ayuk,
some drops by
some
by Detroit too in that
yeah,
second half. It
yeah.
was
I
getting to him. It was
mean,
getting to him.
yeah, and then you could see, like I said, 24-7, and not as bad as 28-3 a few
Mm,
years ago in the Super Bowl, but this is
yeah,
one of those collapses that, oh man, sometimes they're hard to come back from.
yeah.
And you and I talk about this all the time. You know how hard it is to climb the mountains, eh?
Mm,
Everything the Lions did correct this year to get to where they were and were that close and up that big. And now you got to start all over at 0-0 next, fall and try to climb that mountain again. It's a little depressing.
yeah.
And for this team, and I don't think they'll be, look, think about this. Where have the Falcons been since 28-3?
Ooh.
I mean, it's hard, bro. You
Yeah.
think we're just going to turn this around? We're going to do it next year. Other teams are getting better. You don't have all the great wins that and clutch wins you did last year. And now we're in the middle of the pack instead of the front of the pack like we were this year. And now we got to repeat this process.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, this was the opportunity of opportunities. If the uh, Lions had come out and they were down 24-7 and fought back and lost 34-31, that would have been so much bigger than being up 24-7
Yeah.
and losing it the way they did. Because like I'm telling you, I was thinking about it last night, bro. I've been on that plane ride home and now it's over, and you got to think of it, man. That's like, no, this is like, they talk about putting salt in the wound.
Yeah.
This is like somebody knocking on your door every day for the next 3 months. Hey, I got some salt. Got to put it in there, bro. And then all you can do is lift up the shirt, bro, because this one's going to sting for a long time. And not
Yeah.
just we're going to put some salt in there. We got to cut that open a little more and just, as it looks like it's healing too much. Come here real quick. Somebody going to say something to remind you. And there we go. Let's put a little salt in there. Man, this one's going to hurt. They were that close. And then lastly, every time you see your coach,
Ooh.
you can't say anything, but you're like, damn, bro, just kick the field goal. Just kick the field goal.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
that's
hurt,
true.
bro.
And so without we got to give credit to the San Francisco 49ers because again, if you look at what Christian McCaffrey 20 carries for 90 yards, what is it? Samuel 8 receptions for 89 yards. He was targeted 9 times. Ayuk, the aforementioned Ayuk, 3 receptions, had a touchdown, 68 yards, was targeted 8 times. Christian McCaffrey had four receptions for 42 yards. Again, it was in Juszczyk, Kittle, Jennings. I mean, there were
total team
contributions from
effort.
everybody. Yeah, and I think that
Total team effort.
after kind of again a shaky first half for Purdy, he came back and he was still focused in that second half and made plays. So you have to give him credit as he's going to be now. He's the legend of Brock Purdy. He continues to grow.
The other thing too, Jay, you got to give credit to that coaching staff. They didn't
Yeah.
panic, and then all
I
of a
thought they
sudden,
would. I told Elijah,
bro,
my youngest, I said, I think that if the 49ers get down by 2 touchdowns, I think they're going to start tweaking. And they didn't. They kept
they
chopping
stayed
wood.
in their game plan, came right out in the second half. When they started running the ball in the second half, even with Samuel and stuff like that, and getting McCaffrey going, and I was like, hey, they're staying with it. They're not, because they very easily, you could have looked up, Purdy ended up with 31 pass attempts. Very easily, he could end up with like 45 or something
Right.
like that. Totally out of their character. They stayed in character. Even Purdy got into the running game when he had to. Stayed in game plan. They had enough time. And
Talk
you could,
about a breakdown though. When Purdy had that big
yeah.
scramble, come on, man. Purdy had that big scramble. The Lions defense,
Oh
the
man,
linebackers,
yeah.
it was just wide open for him. I think, what are you
He just
doing?
squeaked right. Well, that's man. Guess the problem with playing man coverage.
Yeah,
Everybody's turned and they're in pursuit of the the routes and stuff, and that's where you'll see quarterbacks when they recognize man coverage. A lot of time they get out of there right away because they know nobody's looking at them. If it was zone, all eyes would have been on him. They would have rallied to the point. But yeah,
gotcha.
that was just luck of the draw sometime. But it was, I mean, perfect escape by him. And getting out, and he showed them legs. Them little legs wasn't moving like Murray, but they was moving, bro.
Man, you know what was funny? Because for some reason I completely forgot that the 49ers they faced the Chiefs a few years ago. And
Yeah.
but they had they had Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, yep.
And so that now it's a rematch of sorts. So we'll get down into the breakdown and all that stuff right now. But man, it's a lot of what could have been when it comes to the Detroit Lions. For the Baltimore Ravens, it's a little bit of that, but kudos to the 49ers for coming back, for staying with it. And again, I would have been the coach that said, we got to tweak it. We got to put that ball in the air. But maybe, just maybe, they know that despite knowing that they had to put a little bit more on Brock Purdy's shoulders, they know there's only so much right now in his career that we can put on him. So we got to stick to our game plan, because if we go too much outside of it, he's not ready for all that just yet.
Well, that's a confidence builder like you can't imagine right there, bro. That was, it was nice to see that young man from Chandler, Arizona, out here in our neck of the woods. And I know some people who work with him. They have these little football camps and stuff out here. From everything I've heard, great young man. And you talking about a beautiful story. And I'm waiting to all the pundits who've been, hey, he's just a game manager. He's this, that. I want to hear if anybody's gonna be eating any crow through the week, talking about he's just the game manager and stuff like that. Yeah, he managed to bring them back from a 24/7 loss.